I found the hotel receipt crumpled in the pocket of her coat. Room 1412. Downtown. 2 nights. Not under my name. 15 minutes later, she walked the front door like nothing had cracked the surface of our world. Her hair was damp. Her skin carried the scent of someone else's soap. She smiled. I poured her wine. Not a word spoken about what I knew. That night I left. No screaming. No begging for the truth. Just silence. She slept while I packed. Quiet, mechanical, cold-fingered. I stood at the doorway for a moment, watching her. She looked peaceful, as if innocence still belonged to her. That was the cruelest part. How convincing a lie had become, even in her sleep. We had 15 years between us, built from scraped knees and nothing but willpower. She said we were partners. She said she believed in us. But she lied. She lied like it was a language she was fluent in. I didn't go far, just a small place by the water. It was cheap, cold, and silent. The kind of silence that seeps into your bones and makes you question everything. I sat with the betrayal for weeks. Let it bleed into me. Anger came later. But when it did, it was sharp, focused, clean. Anger is a tool when you know how to hold it right. We met when we were both nobodies. She smiled like she could see something in me even I hadn't found yet. We started the company from maxed out cards and borrowed dreams. I handled the back end, the structure, the systems. She was the face, the pitch, the charm, the fire. We climbed through coffee-stained nights, coded deadlines, whispered promises over cold takeout. Just us, she used to say. Always just us. But cracks don't announce themselves. They slip in like shadows. Missed dinners. Laughter that no longer belonged to our private world. Her voice started to stretch away from me, like a signal weakening in a storm. The text came before the receipt, a flicker on her screen while she was in the shower. Asterisk, he suspects nothing. You're brilliant. Asterisk, I didn't read it twice. Just enough to understand. I took a screenshot, transferred it to a burner, erased the evidence from her phone. After that, I watched her, studied her like a problem I needed to solve. Her patterns, her lies, the way she came home too perfect. Lipstick just a little too fresh. Excuses too rehearsed. I didn't confront her. I listened. I learned. Pain taught me how to wait. The company was split cleanly on paper, but I knew every thread, every hidden door, the accounts, the structure, the side deals she thought were buried deep. I waited 6 months, long enough to ensure everything was in place. I laid a paper trail, carefully crafted whispers of her siphoning funds, duplicate contracts, ghost vendors. Then I triggered the audit. Quietly, anonymously, but I wasn't done. Her birthday came. A private dining room with glass walls and a skyline view she used to say belonged to us. She invited me, said she wanted closure. I wore black, sleek, sharp, like intent made flesh. She greeted me with a smile as if none of it mattered. Toasted with champagne I didn't touch. Her voice softened. Asterisk, I didn't mean for it to happen like that. Asterisk, and then, but we both moved on, right? I slid a thin folder across the table. Her hand hovered over it before she opened it. Confusion flickered first, then recognition, then panic. Each page pulled a piece of her mask away. Account summaries, time-stamped transfers, fake vendors. Evidence. The audit, it's Monday. I said, IRS, SAC, your investor. Everyone gets a copy. Her eyes lost a fight for composure. She scrambled to stand on a floor that had already collapsed. You could go to jail for this, she said, but her voice was hollow. No. I leaned in, steady and calm. You could. Her wine glass tipped. A slow crimson bleed across the white tablecloth. She whispered, I loved you, like it could stitch a wound that deep. I buttoned my coat. I loved who you were, I said, not who you became. I thought it ended there. I thought justice had a clean edge. But 2 months later, she came to my door. No makeup, no walls, just rain in her hair and something desperate in her eyes. She didn't ask to come in. She just stood there and said, there's more. I should have shut the door. I didn't. She sat on my couch, hands trembling, Told me it wasn't about the affair. Not really. Not the money. The investor she was supposedly sleeping with. He had leverage, blackmail, threats from a past she'd buried before I ever knew her. She said she played along to protect herself. To protect me. If they came for me, they'd come for you too. I didn't want to believe her. But the files she brought, the photos, the messages, the account transfers, they lined up. The betrayal wasn't clean. It was warped, twisted. Still a betrayal. Still her choice. She picked him. She lied to me. Lied for months. But maybe it wasn't greed. Maybe it was fear. I walked to the water that night. Let the cold in. Let it ask the questions I couldn't answer. Did I ruin someone who was trying to protect what we had? Or did she just rewrite the ending to cast herself as the martyr? Here's what I know now. Truth doesn't erase pain. It doesn't stitch the flesh clean. Betrayal doesn't soften with reason. It still burns. But power, that's something else. Power is standing on the ashes and knowing you survived. Power is saying no when they ask for forgiveness, not out of hate, but because you don't need them anymore. Last week she called. Said she was leaving the city. Said she wanted closure. Forgiveness. I didn't give it. Not because I can't, but because I finally don't need to. Betrayal shows you who they are. But more importantly, it shows you who you are when everything burns. And me? I don't burn. I rise.